All right, so on the bottom right of Frost, the Ladder Edition, our yellow Protoss player Fade, Day 9 LC. The good luck.
Bottom left, we have his opponent from clan nobody in particular. It is ThadHoush. Housh.
ThadHoush.
ThadHoush? Yeah. Interesting name. I wonder if it's a reference to something.
Perhaps.
So what was that game D9 plays occasionally? What is this name? Was it like an archaeology professor, a drug, or a Pokemon? Something like that.
Oh, I think I remember that. Isabel, I don't know.
Definitely a professor. Definitely a professor. Not
Also,
very druggy or Pokemon-y, though.
ThadHoush.
But, oh man. Well, somebody will correct me in the chat eventually. In the meantime, to continue that, yeah, I'm not going to spoil it. You'll see what kind of player Fade tends to be pretty soon. He's very exciting to watch.
Well, we do see the initial scout probe coming from Fade over here to the top right. Totally wrong base, but that's okay.
Oh, it's historian. Yeah, ThadHoush is a historian.
Okay, okay.
It's definitely not pharmaceutical. Right? Not a pharmaceutical or a book.
Yeah, definitely a historian. So I couldn't imagine a Pokemon just going ThadHoush, ThadHoush, ThadHoush.
That would be hilarious. Yeah, even Faith backed me up in the chat. He's like, yeah, I heard Bird Tree. Yep, yes you are.
First gas going down for ThadHoush, and this early, typically indicative of either Reaper play or perhaps even a sort of factory opener.
Yeah, you'll notice that it actually gives you just enough gas for the Reaper, or a little bit later you can grab the factory. So it doesn't look like he's going for the Reaper now, unless he's just gotten caught up in something else. Nope, second barracks.
Could possibly get 3 racks, which has
maybe.
That was super popular back in Wings of Liberty, but probably. Okay, so there's the Reaper. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah. So it's just a little bit late on the timing for it. It's all good.
Hey,
and
at least he's got this down in the Bronze League.
Oh, it's always fun for me. Just like this is the one thing I actually kind of understand with Terran is the gas timings. They're fun to read about.
They're very particular. That's why, as I was saying earlier, are we going to see the Reaper here? Is Faye going to catch the Reaper? No.
Well, yes.
Oh, actually,
yes, he is.
Let me go take care of the probe with the Reaper. Okay.
So here's the really frustrating thing about this from a Protoss perspective. I mean, I don't know what race you play. Do you play Terran?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't played as often.
All right. Cool. So you have the opposite perspective on this, because it's like, for a Protoss player, you have no idea how many Reapers there's going to be. You see one Reaper and you have to be like, okay, I gotta get a Mothership Core real quick now and get a couple Stalkers or I could be dead.
Yeah, a really good mind game there. And we have this weird 4-gate here.
Yep.
Okay. So, completely just blocking up these gates.
Oh no! Stalker! No! It's trapped!
And
I think it's stuck back there.
That's okay. He's the sentry for Cybercore there.
He totally protected the mineral line.
But yeah, you could definitely only make one Reaper and make your opponent just call something completely, it's completely ineffective as to what your underlying build could be. But we do see 2 Reapers here.
Well, the thing is, it pretty much just makes it so that any really greedy expansions are quite risky. He's seen a total of 3 Reapers now. It should make him a little uncomfortable. Usually people don't go past 2. Pretty much any level of play.
But I guess I was going to go back to my previous comment about gas timings and Terran in general. That's why when I'm playing against a random player, it's so frustrating when I don't know what the race is, because for each race you have a particular gas timing in most standard builds. And so if you don't know what race they are, you get completely thrown off if you can't scout them fast enough. And that's why I would be so relieved when a random player would tell me what race they were at the beginning of the match. Be like, hey, good luck, have fun. By the way, I'm Protoss. So,
oh, sure. Like, it makes for much better practice for really both players involved, honestly.
And there goes the bunker. And a couple of Marauders here are going to be okay against the initial Stalker. But these backup stalkers, I don't know. Marauders are pretty badass, but this might be a little bit too much.
If the bunker had already been up with some STVs to help out, yeah. Engaging the stalker for free, though. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, no, he doesn't!
He doesn't!
Doesn't get the stalker.
Only loses the Marauder.
Yeah, this is unfortunate, but no, this is the 4-gate. You have to see stuff like this coming if you want to hold it off.
Yeah, he wasn't quite able to actually. Did he even get a full picture of what was in the basement? Well, now he does. Just because it's gonna help him, like I said.
But 4-gate is, it's an oldie, but it's a goodie. It's one of those things. GG, well played already. The 4-gate. Don't hate the 4-gate because it's completely legitimate. And that's one of my favorite things about Protoss is that, the 4-gate is one of those old builds that still works. It pretty much entails nothing that was introduced with Heroes of the Storm. Heart Storm, fuck me.
Introduced hots.
It was popular in Wings of Liberty for the longest time, and apparently it's still a thing. And my favorite thing to watch in a PvP matchup was 4-gate versus 4-gate, because then you get this crazy metagame of who switches to blink tech first, and it's kind of crazy. If you go back and watch the Combat X versus Deezer show matches, it's the best of 7, and it's the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life. You have In Control and Destiny casting.
Nice.
Very old series back in Wings.
It is a very old series. I remember reading about that.
Yeah. All right.
Here's the thing. Like, and Manbon's got, he's got an interesting point here. It says 4-gate faded out at HOTS. And the thing is, that's kind of true. Like, I think every race, if they scout a 4-gate coming, can kill it pretty easily nowadays. But, the thing is, the 4-gate does two things. It punishes incredibly greedy play very well. Person does, double hatch before pool, get 4-gated, you're not going to be happy about that.
Yeah.
You blindly expand to the low ground, no Reaper to check anything out, you have barely any defensive units, no bunker, you're going to be upset. The Protoss player tries to fast expand and doesn't have the exact right setup, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you're going for any of the more normal builds, if they scout it coming, they will be fine, unless you make a big macro error, which is why the 4-gate is really strong.
That, another thing...
So good at punishing. So good.
It really is. Scipio's brother, Aurelius, I don't know if he's ever actually played an environment where you could have actually been observing, but his go-to build for the past 2 years has been the 4-gate, and he's perfected that. I don't know anybody who could do it better than he can. And
nice.
I've seen him play so often against other Protoss players, and you're exactly right. It can punish so incredibly well, but at the same time, if you scout it coming, you'll be ready most of the time. But
most of the time, yeah. But it depends. There's still the micro factor. That's another thing. Is that 4-gates are really good at punishing people with bad micro.
Yeah,
really good.
Another thing, the Mothership Core obviously makes early aggression a lot more viable for Protoss, but also at the same time protects against early aggression as well. So that kind of, the introduction of that unit kind of made everything a little bit different. But why be talking about that? The game's been out for a year now, so everybody obviously
true
stuff. But we can get on the game too between Fate and ThadHoush.
Yeah, ZeroQ, you asking about that? Here's the thing. If you see Chronoboost going down into the Cybernetics core, that is a huge sign of any kind of gateway pressure, and your response is going to be kind of the same, whether it's a 3-gate or a 4-gate. The only thing is, if you see the actual 4 gates, you know that he's not trying to get an expansion very fast, which is key. If you don't, you got to keep checking.
All right. So spawning on the bottom right of King Sejong Station. Taking away game 1, we have our yellow Protoss Fade.
And the top left we have, in the orange colors and the Terran pieces, it is ThadHoush. His opponent needs to take this game to tie it up.
All right. Not looking good for me then.
So here's the thing. This is why I like Fade. Fade will cannon rush you, he will 4-gate you, and then he'll do something else completely insane. And you never know what you're going to see with this guy. It's great.
That's really unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate for ThadHoush, yes.
Yeah, that's not good because usually you play the first game or two and you're like, okay, I have a pretty good feel of how this guy plays. But when they just completely throw something at you that you have no idea,
Oh man,
no indicators of what's coming.
So, did you watch any of Code for the past few days?
I watched a little bit, not too much.
So the best thing is getting to see Wolf and Artosis cast Shine. Shine is one of the most exciting players and most frustrating players to watch.
Proxy Pylon already happened.
There it is. Yep. But anyway, as I was about to say, Shine he's a player who, by all definitions, plays terribly. But he always plays terribly in a way that just completely screws with his opponent and often gives him the win. Like, he's definitely in position. I think... Yeah, I didn't get to see the rest of that particular day, so I don't know if he actually made it in the Code S. But, like, he definitely can do it, if for no other reason than he's completely unpredictable.
It's kind of hilarious because I remember watching Idris stream, and he would just make comments about this sort of thing. Like, he would say, this player's so bad,
Yeah.
It's really hard to play against these players who are just awful because you never know what they're going to do because they have no idea what they're doing.
So here's the scary thing about that guy though is that he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's deliberately playing in a way that doesn't make sense, like building a bunch of lanes blindly and attacking your front, just hoping that you don't have something in the way. He will have looked at your replays and figured out that sometimes you let that happen.
Yeah,
that's why he's doing it. Like,
there's two.
It's crazy.
There's two ends of the spectrum, either completely standard or completely non-standard, and both of them can work very well.
Yeah.
It almost makes you think, where's the line between standard and non-standard? Kind of reminds me of Scipio's gameplay. He is completely unorthodox in the way that he plays, and you probably know that after watching him play a few games. He would do like a 2-base carrier rush. And if the guy, if your opponent was like, oh, wait, what the fuck? Well, what are carriers doing out at 10 minutes? And, it completely throws him off, and you can win a game that way.
That's definitely the case. I mean, they're very. He has. It's funny because it's unorthodox, but not in an obvious way. So you think he's doing something else, and then he shows up with 2 carriers, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't expect that. Now what do I do? And if for some people, they'll either find a way to catch it, or they just get a little bit confused and it does too much damage right away. It's kind of like, I think, basically the way White Raw plays, actually.
Yeah.
He either hides it or he tries to do something else that makes it look like that. Mm-hmm. By hide it, I mean like proxy.
So we have the base going down for ThadHoush, as well as that bunker there. And keep it protected for a little while. Again, a massive ramp there. And the first Marine's going to get picked off for free by that Stalker. And 2 Marines in the bunker.
So far here, I don't think we've gotten to see that ramp play too heavily into things yet. I'm pretty excited to see for that.
Anything versus Zerg, where they can just completely, I guess, if you're trying to wall that off, it's going to take so long that, a competent Zerg player could see that and just, like 2-base Ling Rush or something like that. And just, that's really, that's the biggest thing on Daedalus, is that, playing against Zerg players is so scary because you don't know, should I wall this off? It's going to take a lot of resources. What do I do?
Yeah. Of course, the one thing that's different between this and Daedalus Point is that the third is much more defensive. It's tucked into the back. You kind of have to get next to a wall to really surround it. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you can get past this 2-base stage, it's definitely a map where you can make something happen with a macro-based strategy. It's just pulling this stuff off is going to be tough.
It's 3-gate blink timing, man. This is
that's going to be a thing.
This is going to be rough. He's going to completely bypass the bunker. He's being so mean to ThadHoush right now. ThadHoush in the Bronze League. It's like, okay, I can hold out the 4-gate with my bunker, and then you just blink right past it, which is going to happen here. Unless
is he going to go directly for it or go to this?
use the blink micro to save some of the stalkers, not necessarily a bad call. Loses one.
Yes, indeed. It's too late. Yeah. Oh, actually, if he did pull them at the beginning, if he was just going to defensive blink, probably could have held out. But unfortunately, he's been pushed back up into the base. And honestly, I don't really blame him for just leaving that down there to buy some time. But yeah, he's trying to lift it off and bring it up here.
And there is that reinforcement warping of stalkers, as well as the Mothership Core joining the fight.
Once that Mothership Core is here, he doesn't even really need to run up around. I think at this point it doesn't matter because there's a nice Widowmine. Alright.
It's going to be interesting. Does extra damage to shields, but I don't think it's going to be a game changer right now.
Unless it's the Mothership. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
Didn't quite get it.
He doesn't have enough army to deal with it. Oh, nice.
Oh, there goes one.
And it won't matter. It's like it only gets the one stalker, but
Widowmine. No.
Too much.
Unfortunate for ThadHoush, our very devout historian. Can't quite handle this pressure though. That's GG.
GG.
Fade. Oh man. You were too mean to our Bronze League players. Exactly. Manbon in the chat. Pick on Bronzies. Yeah. Pick on Bronzies with your 4 gates and your 3-gate blink timings.
Then it's a win it.
Yeah, exactly. What are we going to see in Game 3? Do you have any predictions from Fade?
Well, only thing is I expect it not to be one of those two things. I expect it not to be a variation of the 4-gate with blink. He might do that again. I would almost expect him. I would love to see him toy around with some Stargate stuff, especially now that he's 2 games ahead. But we'll see. He also can just straight cannon rush. I've seen him do it before.
Oh no. A cannon rush. Oh. And then we see ThadHoush lift off and go to the gold and win the game.
It's possible.
Alright, so spawning here on the top right of Habitation Station Ladder Edition. 2 games ahead, we have Fade, our yellow Protoss.
Top left of the map, we have his opponent who needs to win this game in order to stay in this series. It is ThadHoush.
ThadHoush, 2 games down. He thinks he has it all. He's experienced the play from Fade for 2 games now. He knows what's going on.
He should definitely be aware that Fade likes one-base plays. I mean, he does. He's good at them too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did something crazy. If he did lift off and go to the gold, that would be a bit risky given this playstyle. most things you can do on one base will deal with that pretty well. But
yeah,
is that supply depot off, or is that just the way it looks on the map?
No. You know what? He could have placed it a little bit closer to that. Yeah.
It's probably just me. Forget it.
I actually do think you're right, though.
Huh. No, well, it'll be okay. I mean, like, even if it was like a pixel to the right of where it normally is, it's fine. Huh. Weird. So yeah, there's a SCV. There's a probe's got into the base. He's seen a lack of gases. So, but I don't think that really means anything. Like, he may assume that it's gonna be the barracks play or the command center, but yeah, there's the gas. It's just slightly later.
Yeah, so, I mean, ThadHoush might throw in a Reaper earlier on. Or, another thing you could do off of this gas timing is the Destiny Cloud Fist all-in. Haven't seen that in a long time. Some throwback all-in builds there. Also the first gateway out for Fade, along with the double gas.
Okay. So maybe he's thinking DT this time.
Yeah,
Oracles.
I hope
DT
not.
or Oracles. Come around to do one or the other.
Damn Cadwab.
There is a really strange variant of the 4-gate where you get a really fast Archon. But it's not... I've never seen it used against anybody but a Protoss, because the whole point of it is to break force fields. But that is possible. That is another variation of the 4-gate that exists. You could do that. I don't know if it would be any
That's
good.
Archon to break the force fields. That's a little bit too much dedication to your cheese at that point, I think.
The person I saw do this was Huck, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
And it worked. It was effective. It blew my mind a little because I was like, what? You can do that in time? Okay.
Hey, Blood Cooker in the chat. Nice to see you around here. I actually haven't quite. I don't think I remember ever seeing you here in the DKTL. So nice to see you.
See you, man.
That is a friend of ours who has not been to a High Mind LAN party in over a year. You need to change that, Blood Cooker.
Yeah, I should, man.
Enjoy
it.
Good.
Enjoy it. Play with people in a physical location while you still can before you all move to the separate corners of the country, and find that to be very difficult.
Yeah. So the proxy pylon is finished. First bunker done for Thad, and it looks like he's saving up for that command center.
Ah, it's Blink.
Oh,
Okay, so he's gonna go for Blink again. I'm a little bit sad. That's okay. It clearly worked well last time.
Oh.
The thing is, this map is quite as easy to do this time.
Yeah, but we've got concussive shells on the way, and that's going to even further his advantage. Oh yeah. But at the same time, Mothership Core, Blink, that's a pretty crazy combination there.
There's really two locations you have to worry a ton about, I think, and that's this one, this like little nudge of the end of the main that's right in front of the ramp.
Only vulnerable spot there, and even then you're still kind of funneled in to that corner. But it all depends at that point on how many units Thad actually has, and if he's relying on the bunker.
Sure.
Off.
Well, he knows something's up. I think he had a command center or something there for a second. Canceled that.
Canceled it.
And is getting units out. Throwing up another barracks. Getting a couple supply depots. Ah, okay. This might be what does it. Bad supply block.
Oh no.
Really, really, really bad time for this.
He's almost got enough energy to call down a supply depot. Extra supply.
I would totally do it in this situation. You're not going to need that scan. Like, you need that supply.
Is he going to actually try to take care of this before it ever happens? He definitely... Oh, no, there's the warping.
Well, yeah, now that's going to push him back.
But he uses the energy on the scan. But at least he didn't lose his units there. Got the bunker.
Okay, his two supply depots did just finish. So, I mean, it's like, it's only something that he could have done slightly earlier. It would not have mattered too much, actually. Because he only... Like, they pretty much did finish at the exact same time, I think, is when he had energy for that.
And another Stalker warp in here. It looks like... where's that mothership?
This is one of the most irritating things, is when the Mothership Core just kind of floats past the army, and you need to keep your army down there. And he just starts shooting stuff.
And it looks like, he's pulling Marines back right now, and that's not what he needs when there's an army of Blink Stalkers here at the ramp.
Oh, actually, he's done this pretty well. He's pulled a few Marines back. He's got the majority of his forces at the front. He kills the Mothership Core. Nicely done. Nicely done.
But he has bigger problems here at the at the front here. The bunker falls. There's broader. Oh no! What?
The lack of repair on these bunkers.
Yeah.
Oh, he's shooting the
shot. Oh, that is not good. And then ThadHoush falling once again to the Blink Stalker pressure. I've tried everything.
At least he's still saying GG. Well played.
I mean, the players we've had tonight have been very respectful. So, ThadHoush, props to you for, again, taking your spanking like a boss and being. You just have to learn to deal with the 4-gate and its variants, unfortunately.